This is your Learn It round for a twisting and core focused workout. The timing protocol is 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, 8 times through, and then you'll have a 1-minute rest in between. This is called a Tabata timing protocol, and it really challenges you to stay on one exercise and really improve the form and refine the form so that your brain and nervous system can really tackle that and you know exactly where to go with perfect activation, perfect alignment, and full stability in your posture and in your spine. So we'll go through the Learn It round with 6 exercises. Hinge forward, grab your mace in a spine intelligent way. Exercise 1 is a 360 swing from mountain pose, which is the full variation of the movement. If 360s are not quite in your practice, you can perform a ballistic mace switch, which Bethany will demo. For a ballistic mace switch, reach up with your top left hand, palm faces you, rip and crush, bring mace to solar plexus, glide the mace to the center of your body with palms open, shoulders nice and broad, glide the mace back down. Rip and crush, elbows equidistant from the rib cage versus here. Again, slide through prayer, hit your prayer, glutes on and core on, rip crush. So Bethany will continue with ballistic switches. If you wanted to progress that up and add a squat for a little more cardio, that is an option as well. And then my variation is the level 2, 360 from mountain pose. So 360 swing, pack the shoulders. The goal here is to get your reps in and to have nice clean swings. So we'll aim for about 5 repetitions on each side. The 3 phases of the swing: block, dump, and pull. Block as if a mace is swinging at your skull. Drop the hands below the nape of the neck and then pull it into position here. Switch hand positions. We'll do 5 on the other side. You can alternate every time as you go through the interval. Block, dump, pull. And Bethany would switch the mace to the opposite side. She's alternating every time, so it's gonna work out just fine. Block, dump, and pull. Keep your core engaged as you're swinging. Work on your shoulder mobility so that you're able to really reach the elbows all the way up to the ceiling. And then rest. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Place your mace down. Second exercise, the sit through hip. Step to the back of your mat. Make sure in the sit through hip that you're always coming up into mountain pose between every repetition. So we'll perform a practice round with level 1 for Bethany, and I'll perform level 2 as well. And there's actually a regression below level 1, which is level 0.5. So let's go through that together. Take your arms out to straight arms, straight elbows. Find a hip hinge, lower down into your squat. Hinge forward. Come to this quadruped position with knees hovering. First variation is loaded beast. So corkscrew the eye of the elbow forward and sit your hips back towards your heels and then return to the starting position. Again, find torque in your arms, sit back, loaded beast, shoulders go behind the wrists and back to the starting position. From the side here, go ahead and sit back, loaded beast. What we're looking for is more knee flexion here. Good, and back to starting position. So she goes from 90-degree knees to a big, imagine she's like squishing an orange underneath her knees here. Good. So that's level 0.5, is just working loaded beast. Next progression, move from loaded beast into hip swivel, folding one ankle in, keeping both hands on the ground. Swivel back through center, find your loaded beast, and then swivel, folding the ankle over. Back to the starting position. Again, loaded beast into swivel, keep both hands on the ground, center, swivel, and center. Push back to a flat foot squat. Rise up with control. Chugging breath, you'll have a 10-second interval to recover before going right back into the interval. Your heart rate's gonna get high in the Tabata, and your job is to recover as quickly as you can and efficiently go right into the next round. Let's demo another round of the level 1, and I'll do the next progression for sit through hip. Arms straight ahead, find your hip hinge. Hinge forward, hands anchor to the floor, fingers spread wide. Level 1 with Bethany. Level 2, swivel. Lift a hand, eye gaze remains down, pull elbow to rib. Swivel, lift opposite hand. Swivel, power breath. So you can stay here, working on a quick turnover. Notice the speed that I'm driving this hip from the bottom all the way over to the other side. Other progressions are threading the leg through with a pointed or flexed foot. Keeping the lat engaged. Try not to lock out the arm here. Keep a micro bend here. You can point or flex. And then push back to your flat foot squat. Always come up with perfect form, so you train the squat and chug at the top. Deep inhale, fork and exhale. You might get like 1 or 2 breaths in those 10-second recovery intervals, but you'll have a longer recovery time in the minute breaks between exercises. Squat and twist. So notice what's coming up for you even in the learn it round. Like, this is a challenging circuit, but when we push our own edges with control and we regress as needed, you're going to start to see your mind start to become a little more nimble, and you can take on greater challenges. Take an over grip, mace on your left side. Squat and twist is the name of the exercise. Level 1, find your sit back, squat, bend the knees. Level 1, you can pull the mace into uppercut and just rotate your body and your trunk to look to your opposite side. So Bethany will stay level 1, squat, preparing for that over grip. Level 2 variations, you can squat and then with straight arms, lift up. Squat. So I can bring my mace with bent arms through, one variation, here to here. I can do it with straight arms, increasing my lever. I'm looking for this spiral, starting at my ankles, traveling all the way up through the lateral line of my leg, into my core, out through my arms. Some other fun variations are to create more leverage on the mace, so you can shorten up your distance between your wrists. Squat, more leverage here. I can even perform a partial 360 here and back down. I can do a full drop swing and back down. Switch sides. So you would have in the interval a 10-second recovery breath, inhale, exhale, chug, chug. Squat and twist, level 1, stay with Bethany, find your hip hinge, hold it into uppercut, rotate body and trunk. Squat. Hips stay pointed forward. I'm not rotating my hips too much. I'm just rotating my thoracic spine. Next progression, straight arms. Decide, do I want to keep the mace traveling close to my body? Or do I want to keep my arms straight? Do I want to have a partial drop swing of some kind and swirl that mace around my energetic field of my body? Do I want to have a full drop swing? Capture, load. Where's the coil? Where's the spiral happening? And how can you anticipate where the mace's path is going and absorb it with your own body? And chug, recover. Inhale and exhale. Twisted runner's lunge, exercise 4. Take your left leg forward, take your right leg back. Reach up with your left hand. Now, place your mace on the ground parallel to the front edge of your mat. See that your front hand is anchored to the floor. Level 1, the mace remains on the ground. Squeeze your back glute on, pack your bottom shoulder, this one. And then level 1, you can just peel your mace up, look up. If you have any low back pain happening here, feel free to change this out for a lighter club, or you can even just do a closed fist if you need to map that out if you're getting fatigued. Next progression, curl back toe under, lift knee, swivel up. So you're training thoracic spine in rotation, and come back down with a straight arm. Keep the hips squared, keep the core tight, keep your back glute on, twist up, bring it down with control, twist up. Switch sides, come through a quadruped position, step the opposite foot forward, flip your mace handle around here. Level 1, knee remains on the ground. Pull up, find your alignment here. So the mace tail is going to want to do all sorts of funky things. Your job is to see if you can keep this mace, the long mace tail, in line with the front edge of your mat the whole time so that the globe is stacked directly over your shoulder and you can progress the movement. Level 2, curl back toe under, twisted runner's lunge. You have control in both directions, on the way up, on the way down. This bottom hand is torquing like crazy to keep you nice and stable. Good. And for the chug for this one, let's be a little creative. So since standing up and coming down into a lunge costs a lot of energy, we're gonna actually chug from here with glutes on. So same principles apply. Arms dangle, inhale, exhale, chug. We can just shake the arms. So that way we're ready to go into the next exercise and we can flip the globe all the way over. So if you're looking at your foot and you're like, where does my globe go? The globe needs to go on the opposite side of the foot to initiate the action. Opposite side of the foot, okay? And then it would be on the other side. Side swings. For side swings, go ahead and rotate your body to the long edge of your mat here and place the feet hip distance apart. Find a hip hinge. Level 1 variation, you can perform just a side swing with a tap. Side swing up, tap, park the mace on the ground. See that your mace and your arm are in a line. See that one shoulder's dropped under and your trunk is in rotation. Side swing, tap. So Bethany can perform her first 2 rounds with a tap, and after that she can go straight into swings for her next progression. Hip snap. If we want to work further progressions, we can side swing, which I'll demo, into order position, cast, side swing, order. And switch sides. All right, find your hip hinge. Mace and arm in a line, one shoulder dropping under, both knees are bent. Level 1, side swing to tap. Just ensuring that we have the depth here. Side swing and tap, take the tap away, level 1. Power breath. Next progression, side swing to order. Cast, swing, and catch. If you're doing the order position, the body's rotated. Elbow marries to rib. I'm not here in a side flag. I'm pulling my navel in so that there's a nice box here of elbow married to rib. It's very similar to reverse guard. I just don't have my hand there. Cast, swing. I can keep my hand there to protect my face as well. Last one. All right, chugging breath, deep inhale. 4 count exhale. You would have a full minute to recover before going to your next exercise. This is a longer duration. It's like a 30-minute workout, so pace yourself. If you can only do, 4 exercises the first round, that's fine. You can layer it on the 5th one, the 6th one later on. Okay, this is a new one, tripod vertical. Very excited to unleash this one. So be mindful of your capacity for getting onto the ground. So Bethany can demo just placing the mace on the ground and entering from a squat. I'm gonna challenge myself by going down into a full flat-footed squat and then choking up and anchoring back. So tripod vertical, this is an opportunity to start bearing load in your top hand. If you have any contraindications like low back pain or any neck or cervical spine issues, please remove your mace and you'll just be regressing from the tripod prep, which we demonstrated in our prime video previously. If you're ready to bear a little bit of load, elbow to rib, feet flat, rotate the body around, level 1, just grab the mace, choking up kind of towards the globe of the mace. So there's this moment where it's kind of in air and you're driving it down. Next progression, a partial lift, still driving that mace into the ground, drop down and switch. Partial lift. Over time, when you feel ready, you can lift, Bethany will demo, just lifting the mace and hovering here for a moment, and then back down. So she'll work up to that. She'll demo a couple of the level easiest variation, and then eventually lifting. I'll be demoing and moving towards full tripod vertical, come down, can keep my mace on the ground to switch, pull it in, drive, lift, drive, tripod vertical, elbow to rib, anchor, press, switch, drive up, pull down, and switch. Over time, I can take even the ground touching away, and I can pass my mace through this boat position here. Drive up, flat tripod vertical, drive down, boat, switch. Okay. And then, as always, Do your best to come out of it. So you can place your mace down if you're practicing the level 1 variation. If you're wanting to utilize your mace upon standing, you can come up dynamically as well. All right, so those are your 6 exercises. Now you get to set your Tabata timer, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest, 8 rounds of each exercise before moving to the next exercise. Start preemptively strategizing about where your mindset might go, because 8 rounds can feel like a lot, but then tell yourself, like, I can do anything for 20 seconds. So you're training that mindset of, I can perform more efficiently, I can stay present with my body, it's only 20 seconds. So you're giving yourself the opportunity to stay present for 20 seconds at a time. And the cumulative effect of those little 20 seconds of presence is going to bring you a greater awareness of body-mind. It's going to heighten your somatic awareness, your felt sense. So practice just staying present with every single repetition and every single breath. We'll see you in the timed rounds.